how difficult is this show? I've seen it like three times, and it looks like it could kill you because there's so much dancing that goes on. Is it
Yes,
is it that hard?
honestly, yes. Like, I mean, any show, any live theater, any actor will always relate to the thought of, am I gonna get through the show today? That's number one. And number two, especially with this show, if you are on stage the entire time, there is no break. You get if you have a second of a break, you take that break as long as you can. And so it is working the mental, the emotions, the physicality, the choreography of it all. It is all active and it is all as difficult as it looks. But you know, I would say I think we do a good job of trying to hide it.
Does the body go on autopilot? Does it just kind of know when it hears a sound, it's got to move here, you got to do that, or do you have to really think it?
Honestly, sometimes, yeah. I mean, if anything, if I am going autopilot, I have to really think about me snapping back into it. Because sometimes, things become muscle memory. And and the more you do something, the more natural and comfortable it gets in your body. And so if on a day it gets a little too comfortable, it's like, okay, well let me lock back in. So, that I think that happens to, anybody, really.
Where, when did you finally get familiar with their story? Because we all know the Temptations, but I don't think we know there were like how 25 temptations throughout the course
Hmm.
of history. We don't know that there was the ups and the downs that they had. When did you learn
Right.
that story?
Well, I've always learned, well, not learned, I've always known that story just because of how I was raised personally. So I was raised in with all old school music, 60s, 70s, 80s. That was just the household that I was raised in. Um, and of course, they had the Temptations movie that came out when I was a kid years ago. But as far as like little details that the play that the production has that I didn't know, there are definitely a handful of things that I didn't know before coming into the production. But me personally, I've always known their story just because of how I grew up.
Do you think you could have done what they did? Do you think, because they really were trailblazers. And
Mhm.
we look at it now and we think, oh, yeah, 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 they were successful and all that. But really, it was a tough row to hoe back in the day. And
Yeah,
how they came to be, as they like to put it, number one. Um,
yeah,
I know Diana Ross would have a real problem with that
I'm
thinking.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But,
Right.
but that could you do it? Do you think you'd have the wherewithal to do that kind of career?
I think everything happens for a reason. And I think that the circumstances and the environment and the time period that they were a part of and were raised in was meant specifically for them. I think it's too delicate and too specific of a moment to say that I can do it or I can't do it. I think that they were meant to do exactly what they were meant to do, and nobody could have ever done it but them. And I feel that way about honestly everybody who has ever made an impact on anything artistically, anything publicly, socially, that have lasting effects and that change the course of the industry and how people operate and what people think about, that's what they were always meant to do. And, you know, I'm meant to do the things that I'm meant to do just as much as they were meant to do the things that they're meant to do. And so I feel like that's they have a specific calling that was always going to be theirs. And it wouldn't have had the same impact or no impact at all had it not been them doing it.
How did it turn out that you got this temp to play? I mean, because you could play any of them, right?
Well, I think so when the tour first came out, back in 2021, I believe. Um, and they were having auditions for it. And in the breakdown they have, oh, this character is this, 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 this is this. And I was like, I connect to Paul. I was like, the breakdown of him being someone who was about the art form and about the group, and all he wanted to do was just be of the art form and be of the group. Period. That was it. A very genuine soul, a very honest soul. Like there was nothing deviant or um, mischievous about him. He was an honest person, honest in his emotion and honest in his art form, and that was something that I relate to. So, in theory, yes, I can. In theory, yes, I can play any of the temps, but in actuality, in action, Paul was the one that I knew I resonated with, and that I knew I fit best
Sure.
as.